Hello and welcome to the Time Management Mini Course Day 3. Today we are going to be talking about eliminating distractions. Okay, let me share my screen with you and we will dive right in. Okay, so there are 3 major enemies that will work against you as you start to implement this new time management system. Procrastination, interruptions, and distractions. So, a common misconception is that lazy people are the ones who procrastinate, and it's actually far from it. So, say you're putting off an important task. Say, for example, you need to alphabetize your spice roll. And doing something like alphabetizing requires a lot of focus and effort. And maybe you might even go the extra mile and wipe down each bottle before putting it back. That's not laziness, okay? That's procrastination. The word procrastination is derived from a Latin verb, procrastinare, to put off until tomorrow. But it's more than just voluntary delaying. Procrastination is also derived from an ancient Greek word, akrasia, I don't know how to say that, doing something against our better judgment. So procrastination, it doesn't make you lazy, and it's not a character flaw or a mysterious curse on your ability to manage time, but it is actually a way of coping with challenging emotions and negative moods induced by certain tasks like boredom, anxiety, insecurity, frustration, and resentment, or even self-doubt. So to put it simply, procrastination is more about being focused on the immediate urgency of managing a negative mood than on getting on with the task. So, for example, our particular nature or mood is going to change based off of the given task or situation. Okay, so it might be due to the task that we need to do being unpleasant. Like, maybe you don't like scrubbing toilets, and so you just are procrastinating because you don't like the experience of cleaning toilets, and so it might cause you to stop because you just don't like those feelings. But another task, though, could also result from like deeper feelings related to the task, like self-doubt or low self-esteem or anxiety or insecurity. And so you need to write something for like the school PTA. Like you need to write this school newsletter, and you're staring at the blank document and you're just thinking, I'm not smart enough to write this. Even if I am, what are people going to think of it? Writing is so hard. What if I do a bad job? All of that leads to us just putting the document aside and then alphabetizing the spice drawer instead, because that sounds like a pretty good idea. So that's kind of what procrastination is. And there's actually an entire body of research dedicated to self-blaming thoughts many of us tend to have when we procrastinate. And the thoughts we have about procrastination typically exacerbate our stress and distress, so which continues to further procrastination. So here's what we do about it. We have to realize that at its core, procrastination is more about emotions and not productivity, okay? So the solution doesn't involve downloading a time management app or taking this course or learning new strategies for self-control. It has to do with managing our emotions in a new way. So our brains are always looking for relative rewards. If we have a habit of procrastinating, but we haven't found a better reward, our brains are just going to keep doing it over and over and over again until we have found something to do. And so to rewire any habit, we have to give our brains a bigger, better offer. And in the case of procrastination, we have to find a better reward than just avoiding the task for the time being. So some examples could be forgiving yourself in the moments that you procrastinate, practicing self-compassion. This is treating yourself with kindness and understanding in the face of mistakes and failures. Stop focusing on the task and think of the payoff. Another thing you could do is break the task into bite-sized chunks and then consider your next action. Okay, so you've got your new time management system all set up and you're ready to rock and roll. And the time comes when your kiddo's napping or at preschool and you've got a block of time to work on something, let's say the housework, for example, and you are ready to get to work and you have all these great intentions, and then you get distracted. Maybe your phone rings and you're on the phone for an hour and then it's time to pick up the kids. or your kid wakes up from a nap. Or maybe you get notifications and you're scrolling Facebook for an hour, or maybe your kids are actually home and you have them set up with an activity, or you sit down and do a devotional and then your kids come barging in. Distractions are seriously everywhere and can happen anytime, so eliminating them is an absolute must. It comes down to this. We all have limited time, you guys. There is only so much time we have. We are wives, moms, friends, keepers of the home, okay? Side hustlers. We all wear many hats and we know we need to schedule it in and get it done. But now we need to make sure we're 100% focused. You can get more done in 15 to 30 minutes of focused, uninterrupted work than you can in an entire day of distracted, all over the place work. It's about being the most efficient and making the most of the time that you do have. So when it comes to interruptions, you are actually your own worst enemy. Other people can be a distraction for sure, but you're actually much more of a danger to your attention and focus than they are. When you are working in a block of time, first thing that you should do is turn off your phone or remove it from where you are. Put it in a bedroom, charging with the door shut. Don't set yourself up for failure. If potato chips are your weakness and you're trying to lose weight, don't have them in the house, okay? Second, email, social media notifications, just turn them off or take the apps off your phone. Scrolling feeds, responding, commenting, it does not drive your productivity. Remove and just turn off notifications. And if you're doing work on a computer, close the unrelated tabs. So if you feel like you actually have terrible self-control, I highly recommend the Freedom app. It's basically what it does is it's a website blocker and it's used to reclaim focus and productivity. So what happens is it blocks websites for you. So if you end up getting distracted and you try to go into another website, it will stop you from going in. There's another really great app that you grow a tree. It starts with a seed on your phone. And so it starts with a seed and it grows into a tree and it'll eventually grow into a forest over time. But if you ever open your phone while you have it going, then it starts over and starts at a seed again. And you're trying, I think it's called Focus Forest. So it just helps you stay focused and you'll look at your phone and see that it's growing a tree and you're like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be staying focused right now. So those are some kind of awesome tools that we've got. So also try and do most of your work when your kids are sleeping or in school or napping. Try to do your work or tasks at a time when it's actually quiet. Your environment is a big one. There's lots of house distractions. So say you've got a little side business or you want to start a business and you're wanting to work it during nap time. So you've got 2 solid hours to work on your computer while your little one sleeps, but you get distracted by laundry and dishes and chores and other house stuff. So you've got to block in that housework. Then you can let the thoughts about what needs to get done go and focus on the task at hand because you know you'll have time to get to it later. You also want to filter any interruptions that come in. So think about it. Is it urgent? Is it urgent interruption? Do you have to handle this right now? If you do, then again, you just adjust your schedule as you need to and remember that life happens and it's fine. If you don't, then you just ignore it and make a note to get to it later. Also, this is an interesting statistic, but on average, when someone calls you, the phone call lasts about 11 minutes. But if someone calls, leaves a message, and then you call them back, the call only lasts 11 minutes. So what you can do when you're in a block of time where you need to be really focused, ignore the phone calls and then call them back, and you'll save yourself some time. Okay, here's the truth, the ugly truth about multitasking. So the ultimate distraction is multitasking. Now, I used to be the queen of multitasking. I used to brag about how good I was at multitasking. I used to apply to jobs where the job description said, is good at multitasking. Turns out multitasking is a huge lie. And our brains are not as good at handling multiple tasks as we think they are. So research actually shows that multitasking can reduce your productivity by 40%. So what happens is we think we're getting 2 things done at once, but what is really happening is your brain is switching to 2 different tasks. So it's not focusing on 2 different things at once. Your brain can really only focus on one thing at a time. So what it's doing is it's going back and forth, back and forth. And so you're actually piecemealing a task together from the consistent interruptions. Therefore, it's actually a distraction. Studies show that people who are perpetual multitaskers, even when they're focusing on one thing, are just not as effective. So you have to get out of the habit of being a multitasker and give yourself permission to focus on just one thing. So there are some times though where multitasking is successful, and that's where you're doing something kind of mindless. A great example of this is listening to an audiobook or a podcast while you cook or fold laundry or drive. So I love to listen to like parenting books. I love to listen to podcasts, like business podcasts, or motivational podcasts while I'm cooking dinner, or folding laundry. Also, I recommend saving your Facebook time when you're doing something productive, like being on the elliptical. Literally, just everybody knows this. Sitting down and scrolling Facebook is a waste of time. Waste of time. You could be getting so much done. The amount of time most people spend scrolling Facebook, they could be putting towards a side hustle and making money. So save your Facebook time for a time like on the elliptical at the gym, or time yourself and don't let yourself be on there very long. Remember, 15 minutes, just 15 minutes of laser focused work is better than 2 hours of distracted all over the place work. So here's some questions that you can ask yourself for our day 3 homework. What am I currently procrastinating and why am I procrastinating it? What can I do to replace the current reward of putting it off? What are things that distract me? What is my plan to eliminate the distraction? What are my potential interruptions that will happen? What is my plan for when they occur? Am I a multitasker? Then give yourself permission to focus on just one thing at a time. Tell yourself that you'll be more productive if you focus on one thing at a time without distractions or interruptions. Now remember, you won't get everything right the first time. Forgive your failures and celebrate your successes. If you find yourself falling off the bandwagon, just pick yourself up and get back on board, okay? It's going to take some time for you to get used to this new way of managing your time, so just embrace it. So I want you to pick 2 strategies. I know we've gone over a lot, and it's going to take some time to get used to this new way of managing your time. Embrace it and take it at your own pace, but don't procrastinate. I recommend picking 2 strategies we have gone over and implement them into your life starting now. So to extend the idea that we've been talking about, scheduling time to work on things forces you to create space to do them. But if you're rigorously time blocking and something still isn't making the schedule, it's probably not actually a priority, or there's something else going on that's stopping you from doing it. So in the next video, we are going to talk about what to do when there's just too much to do and not enough time. So we'll talk about how to tackle that issue.